Did you know that 96% of deaths from a certain seafood infection happen to people over 60? And it's probably sitting in your fridge right now. 4 common seafoods are quietly destroying your joints, poisoning your brain, and speeding up aging. But here's the good news. 4 others can actually reverse cognitive decline, rebuild cartilage, and add years to your life. In this video, you'll discover exactly which seafoods to avoid and which ones act like medicine for aging bodies. We're breaking down peer-reviewed studies, CDC data, and real medical cases. If you're over 60 or cooking for someone who is, this information could be life-changing. Welcome to this channel, where we bring you cutting-edge health science in a way that's easy to understand and apply. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss important information like this. Now let's get into the 4 seafoods you need to stop eating immediately. Let's start with raw oysters. Many people consider them a luxury treat, but for anyone over 60, they can be dangerous. The problem is a bacterium called Vibrio vulnificus that lives in warm coastal waters where oysters grow. Here's what you need to know. While anyone can get food poisoning, seniors face much greater danger. As we age, our immune systems get weaker, making older adults 80 times more likely to get Vibrio infections than younger people. A CDC study tracked 422 cases over 5 years and found that 96% of deaths happened in people over 60. For those with conditions like diabetes or liver disease, the death rate was 52%. That's more than half. The symptoms can get bad very quickly. What starts as mild nausea can turn into severe chills, fever, and blood-filled blisters in just 24 hours. The bacteria multiply fast and can lead to septicemia, a blood infection that shuts down your organs. Take James Patterson, a 68-year-old retired banker. He ate raw oysters at a restaurant and within hours was fighting for his life. Even with treatment, he lost 3 toes and spent 2 months learning to walk again. Now he only eats oysters that are fully cooked, grilled until the shells open and the meat is firm. If you want to eat oysters, steam them for at least 5 minutes or grill them thoroughly. Even better, try cooked mussels instead. You'll get the same nutrients like zinc and B12 without the risk. Now let's talk about king mackerel. This fish is accumulating mercury and damaging brains across America. King mackerel is a large predator fish, and like all fish at the top of the food chain, it stores high amounts of methylmercury. This toxin doesn't just pass through your body, it embeds itself in brain tissue, especially the parts that control memory and coordination. Harvard researchers studied 1,200 adults over 65 and found something alarming. People who ate king mackerel weekly had cognitive decline 30% faster than those who avoided high mercury fish. Their blood mercury levels were 11.2 parts per million, more than double what the EPA says is safe. The symptoms start gradually. First come hand tremors that you might think are just normal aging. Then brain fog, trouble concentrating, forgetting names, losing your train of thought. Eventually, you can develop peripheral neuropathy, which causes permanent nerve damage in your hands and feet. Margaret Chen, a 71-year-old retired teacher, experienced this firsthand. After eating king mackerel regularly for years, she developed mercury poisoning. Even with chelation therapy to remove the mercury, she still has memory problems. The damage was too advanced to fully fix. She's improved her coordination by eating sardines instead, but those lost memories aren't coming back. The fix is simple. Switch to Atlantic mackerel, which has 75% less mercury, or go with wild salmon or sardines for even better results. If you've been eating king mackerel regularly, ask your doctor about a heavy metal blood test. Treatment can help, but prevention is always better. Next is imported shrimp from Asia, and this is truly concerning. Over 90% of shrimp in American stores comes from industrial farms in Southeast Asia where regulations barely exist. These farms are often contaminated with human and animal waste, and farmers use antibiotics, pesticides, and growth hormones, many banned in developed countries, to keep the shrimp alive. Consumer Reports tested imported shrimp and found banned antibiotics in 60% of samples. These include chloramphenicol, which can cause fatal blood disorders, and nitrofurans, which are known to cause cancer. For seniors, these chemicals change how your body fights infections, increasing your risk of antibiotic-resistant illnesses by 400%. Think about what that means. Your body becomes resistant to antibiotics through these contaminated shrimp. Then when you actually need antibiotics for pneumonia, a urinary tract infection, or after surgery, they might not work. You've unknowingly damaged your immune system's best defense.
But it's free from banned chemicals, tastes better, and won't turn your body into a breeding ground for drug-resistant bacteria. Frozen wild-caught shrimp is often cheaper than fresh and is frozen right on the boat, keeping all its quality. The fourth seafood harming seniors is farm-raised tilapia. This might surprise you because it's been marketed as healthy, affordable protein. But farm-raised tilapia is actually terrible for inflammation. Here's the problem. Farm-raised tilapia has an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 11 to 1. The ideal ratio is 1 to 1. This huge imbalance triggers inflammation throughout your body, making arthritis, heart disease, and even Alzheimer's worse. Wake Forest University researchers found that eating farm-raised tilapia increases inflammation markers more than eating bacon and hamburgers. This health food is actually more inflammatory than processed meat. Why? These fish live in overcrowded tanks, swimming in their own waste. They eat corn, soy, and sometimes chicken feces. Less than 2% of imported tilapia gets inspected by the FDA, so contamination goes undetected in most cases. Johns Hopkins found dioxins, cancer-causing industrial pollutants in farm-raised tilapia, at levels 11 times higher than EPA limits. For seniors whose bodies already struggle to remove toxins, these build up quickly, causing joint pain, brain fog, and heart problems. Dr. Patricia Williams, a 69-year-old cardiologist, learned this the hard way. She got severe arthritis after eating farm-raised tilapia 4 times a week, thinking it was healthy. Her joints hurt so badly she had to take leave from work. After learning about tilapia's inflammatory effects, she switched to wild-caught pollock and Pacific rockfish. Within 3 months, her inflammation dropped 85%, and she went back to work pain-free. Buy wild-caught Pacific sardines in olive oil or water. Avoid ones in soybean oil, which adds inflammatory fats. You can mash them with avocado, add them to pasta, or eat them from the can. If the texture bothers you, start with boneless, skinless ones. The second healing seafood is wild-caught Alaskan salmon. This isn't farm-raised salmon. That lacks the nutrients we're talking about. Wild Alaskan salmon has compounds that repair age-related damage at the cellular level. The deep red color comes from astaxanthin, an antioxidant that's 6,000 times more powerful than vitamin C. Unlike most antioxidants, astaxanthin can reach your brain and directly protect your brain cells from damage that leads to dementia. Japanese researchers followed seniors who ate wild salmon twice weekly for 8 years. These people had 40% less cognitive decline compared to those who didn't eat it. That's the difference between remembering your grandchildren's names and struggling to recognize them. Wild Alaskan salmon also has lots of selenium for thyroid function and about 1,000 IUs of vitamin D per serving, addressing the deficiencies common in seniors. UCLA researchers found that seniors eating wild salmon had inflammation markers 50% lower than those eating farm-raised fish. Norwegian studies showed wild salmon reduced fall risk in elderly people by 23% through better muscle function. Eleanor Chang, a 70-year-old grandmother with early-stage dementia, was terrified of losing our memories. Her daughter researched diet changes and got her to eat wild Alaskan salmon 4 times a week. After 6 months, Eleanor's cognitive tests improved instead of getting worse. Her mood and energy got better, and while she still has dementia, it's progressing much slower. Look for Copper River sockeye or king salmon from Alaska.
Grill it with lemon, bake it with herbs, or make salmon patties with canned wild salmon, which is cheaper and just as nutritious. Aim for 2 6-ounce servings each week. The third healing seafood is green-lipped mussels from New Zealand. These contain unique omega-3 fatty acids called ETAs that exist nowhere else in nature. ETAs are 200 times better at reducing inflammation than regular fish oil. Australian researchers studied 400 arthritis patients. After just 12 weeks of taking green-lipped mussel extract, people reported 89% less pain and 91% better mobility. These are huge changes. People who could barely walk were suddenly able to exercise again. But here's what's really amazing. Green-lipped mussels contain compounds identical to those in human joint fluid. They don't just reduce pain, they help rebuild cartilage. New Zealand studies tracked seniors with osteoarthritis who ate these mussels regularly, and MRI scans showed actual actual cartilage growth in 45% of them. Medical science says cartilage doesn't grow back, but these mussels prove otherwise. Michael O'Brien, a 67-year-old construction foreman, was scheduled for knee replacement. His knees were bone on bone and every step hurt. A friend told him about green-lipped mussels, and Michael tried them before surgery. He ate them daily, and in 3 months, his pain dropped by more than half. After 6 months, his doctor was shocked. The MRI saw improvement, and Michael canceled his surgery. He's back doing light construction and walks 3 miles every morning. Buy frozen New Zealand green-lipped mussels online or at specialty stores. If you can't find fresh ones, quality freeze-dried supplements work too. Steam them with white wine and garlic, add them to pasta, or make mussel chowder. Eat them twice weekly normally or daily if you have an arthritis flare-up. The fourth healing seafood is wild Mediterranean octopus. It provides more complete protein per calorie than any other seafood, with all 9 essential amino acids your aging body needs to build and keep muscle. Octopus has 16 times more taurine than salmon, and taurine is crucial for heart health. Japanese cardiologists followed seniors who ate octopus weekly for 10 years and found they had 60% fewer heart attacks, strokes, and heart failures compared to those who didn't eat it. Octopus is also very rich in copper, which you need to make brain chemicals. As we age, copper deficiency becomes more common, causing depression, memory problems, and trouble concentrating. Octopus delivers copper in an easy-to-absorb form, plus unique compounds that stimulate growth hormone, fighting the muscle loss that speeds up after 60. Italian researchers found something interesting. Elderly octopus fishermen in coastal villages scored 45% higher on thinking tests than inland people the same age. Further research showed it was the octopus they ate several times a week. Greek studies showed regular octopus eating increased lean muscle by 12% and grip strength by 30% over 6 months in seniors. Grip strength is one of the best predictors of how long you'll live. Stronger grip means longer life. Octopus also has 600% of your daily B12 needs per serving, with special compounds that help absorption even if you have low stomach acid, a common problem that causes B12 deficiency. Dr. Maria Castellanos, a 72-year-old psychiatrist, noticed she was forgetting details from patient sessions. An MRI showed her memory center was shrinking. She researched diet solutions and discovered octopus benefits. She started eating grilled octopus 3 times weekly, and after a year, a new MRI showed the shrinkage had reversed. Her memory improved, and she still practices full-time. Choose wild-caught Mediterranean octopus. Tenderize it by freezing overnight, then thaw and slow cook in tomato sauce. You can also grill it with olive oil and lemon, or make it Spanish-style with paprika. If the texture seems odd, start with baby octopus, which is more tender. Aim to eat it weekly. Now you know which seafoods are harmful and which ones heal, but you need a practical plan. Let's break down how to make these changes starting today. Start small. Don't try to change everything overnight. Focus on replacing one risky seafood with a good one each week. This lets your taste buds adjust and makes the changes stick. For example, if you eat farm-raised tilapia twice a week, replace it with sardines for one meal. Next week, swap imported shrimp for wild-caught American shrimp. By month's end, you've made 4 big changes without feeling overwhelmed. Quality matters more than quantity with seafood. Yes, wild-caught costs more, but think about what you're really paying for. Would you rather spend an extra $5 on wild salmon or thousands on medications and treatments for mercury poisoning, joint inflammation, or cognitive decline? Frozen wild-caught seafood is often cheaper than fresh and keeps all its nutrition. Fish is frozen right on the boat after being caught, locking in all the omega-3s and vitamins. Canned wild Alaskan salmon costs less than fast food and has more nutrients than most people get in a day. If you've been eating risky seafoods regularly, especially king mackerel or imported shrimp, talk to your doctor. Ask about heavy metal testing for mercury.
A simple blood test shows if you need treatment like chelation therapy. Also, check your inflammation markers, specifically C-reactive protein and homocysteine. These show how much damage has happened and give you a baseline to measure improvement as you change your diet. Don't wait for symptoms before taking action. Early detection and diet changes can prevent permanent damage to your brain, joints, and heart. Now let's talk about actually eating these good seafoods. The key is finding simple ways to cook them that fit your style. For sardines, mash them with avocado, lemon juice, and salt for a spread on crackers or toast. Mix them into pasta with olive oil, garlic, and red pepper flakes. Or eat them from the can with mustard. Wild salmon is versatile. versatile. Grill it with salt, pepper, and lemon. Bake it in parchment paper with herbs and vegetables for an easy one-pan meal. Make salmon patties by mixing canned salmon with eggs, breadcrumbs, and seasonings, then pan-frying. Green-lipped mussels can be steamed with white wine, garlic, and parsley. Add them to pasta with tomato sauce. Make mussel chowder with potatoes. If using supplements, just take the recommended dose with food. Mediterranean octopus needs more prep, but is worth it. After freezing to tenderize, slow cook it in tomato sauce until tender. Grill it after boiling, then finish with olive oil, lemon, and oregano. Or saute baby octopus with garlic and white wine for a quick dish. Try different recipes until you find ones you enjoy. These foods should be a pleasure, not a chore. Watch cooking videos and adapt recipes to your taste. How often should you eat these? For general health, aim for sardines or wild salmon twice weekly. For arthritis or joint pain, eat green-lipped mussels twice weekly or daily during flares. For brain protection and muscle maintenance, include octopus weekly. Rotate through all four for variety. Store frozen seafood at 0 degrees or below. Thaw in the refrigerator overnight, never at room temperature. Cook thawed seafood within 24 hours. Keep canned seafood in a cool, dry place and use within 2 years. When cooking, avoid overcooking, which destroys omega-3s. Fish is done when it flakes easily and reaches 145 degrees internally. Octopus needs low and slow cooking, while mussels steam in just 5 to 7 minutes. The most important thing is consistency. Eating wild salmon once, then going back to farm-raised tilapia won't help. These benefits build over time through regular eating. Make these healing seafoods a non-negotiable part of your weekly routine. Now let's wrap this up. After 60, your body can't handle poor nutrition as well, but it responds more dramatically to good nutrition. The ocean offers both poison and medicine, and your choices determine whether you speed up aging or support vibrant health. The 4 seafoods to eliminate are raw oysters from warm waters with an 80 times higher infection risk and 52% death rate for seniors. King mackerel with brain-destroying mercury at double the safe levels. Imported Asian shrimp contaminated with banned antibiotics that wreck immune function. And farm-raised tilapia, an inflammatory disaster with toxin levels 11 times above limits. The 4 seafoods to eat are Pacific sardines, which increase bone density 4% yearly and cut heart problems by 38%. Wild Alaskan salmon, which slows cognitive decline by 40% and reduces falls by 23%. Green-lipped mussels that reduce arthritis pain by 89% and regrow cartilage in 45% of patients. And wild Mediterranean octopus, which cuts heart problems by 60% and increases muscle mass by 12%. The science is clear. These aren't small improvements. These are dramatic, measurable health changes. The right seafood choices can mean the difference between declining health and maintained independence. Start with one change this week, just one. If you have farm-raised tilapia, throw it out and buy canned sardines. If you've been eating king mackerel, switch to wild salmon. If you buy imported shrimp, invest in wild-caught American shrimp, even though it costs more. Your future self will thank you with clearer thinking, stronger bones, and pain-free movement. You'll have energy to play with grandchildren, mental clarity to manage your life, and mobility to stay independent. Leave a comment and tell us which seafood swap you're making first. Are you ditching tilapia for sardines? Replacing king mackerel with wild salmon? Let us know and ask any questions about sourcing or preparation. If this helped you, hit that like button. It helps us reach more people who need this information. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss our health science deep dives that make a real difference. We cut through the hype to bring you evidence-based guidance you can trust. The ocean has both healing and harm. Now you know which is which, and you can choose wisely. Make that first change today and start experiencing what real healing nutrition can do for your life after 60.